I wanted to make sure that I had one too. So, long established tradition of having a really bad joke. I figured I would start off with one, and this one kind of goes with the talk. It's the past, the present, and the future walked into the bar. It was tense. But when I saw it, I actually looked up bad jokes. That's how I found it. And when I saw it, I'm like, that's the perfect one. That's perfect one for this one. Because today we're going to talk about your past, your future, and moving forward from that past and moving things forward. The title of the talk is called The Power Bold. And as many of you may know, recently I had this big audition with America's Got Talent. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the principles that led me to that audition and some of the ways it's already changed my life, because it really has, that one moment. So if you'll indulge me, I would like to sing a song for you now. I won't know anything. This is a song that I actually auditioned with. When I did the audition, it was a cappella. And I won't know anything until February, so you guys can be a judge and tell me should I make it or not. And so you walked with me for a while and bared your naked soul, and you told me of your plan, how you would never let them go. In the morning of the night, you cried a long lost child, and I tried to hold you, but you were young and you were wild. But I will never be the same. Oh, I will never be the same. And caught in your eyes, lost in your name, I will never be the same. Secrets of your life I never wanted for myself, but you guarded them like a light placed upon the highest shelf. In the morning of the night, when I woke to find you gone, well, I knew your distant devils must be dragging you home. But I will never be the same. No, I will never be the same. And caught in your eyes, lost in your name, I will never be the same. And you swore you were bound for glory, for wanting you had no shame. But I loved you, and then I lost you, and I will never be the same. No, I will never be the same. No, I will never be the same. Caught in your eyes, lost in your name, I will never be the same. No, I never be the same. Caught in your eyes, lost in your name. I will never be the same. Probably my closest sibling, relationship wise. And one of the last times we hung out with, we were watching The Voice, and he asked me, why did I never audition? And I gave him all this bullshit. You know how it is. You have all these little things that you're forgetting, and you're like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. Really? It was because I was afraid. I was afraid that I was fear, lack, ridicule, failure. Why would I do that? I'm not good enough. Because, how many of you talking about your life say, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to do that. Who am I? Right? So I was also had a job that I was really, really unhappy with. A lot of you guys know how this, I was not in the best space with the boss, and the boss and I fought, and he was the boss. But his favorite line was, well, I sign your paychecks. So when you sign paychecks, then you can say something to me. And that was his mentality. So I was having that going on, and the loss of the job, and the feeling of uncertainty of I almost had to move. I had all kinds of things kind of all at the same time just go, wow. All right, everything's got to move. And I had framed that in, okay, the universe is clearing me for something. What is that something? What is the universe clearing me for? Because that's what's happening. This big clearing's happening. Big swaths of my life was like moving out of my way. So one of the things that Mastin Kipp says, if you haven't heard of Mastin Kipp, he is the one, he has created the Daily Love, and it's a really big website now. And he says the universe is shaking you to awaken you. Okay, so you might be seeing all these things happening, but it's to wake you up. Hey, it's putting. Someone else has said it that they're putting the pieces where it should be. You messed up. Wait, so they're gonna fix it real quick, right? So as Susan has been saying, there's 3 A's in any situation, right? There's awareness, acceptance, and action. So I was aware that I wasn't happy with where things were, right? And I accepted I'm responsible for this. Somehow, some way, I'm responsible for fixing it, because the only one that can change your life is you. And then I was seeking action to make it better. Okay? There are a couple things I can count on. One is that when I have something that I'm working on, that I will always have something I'm working on. And number 2, John will say something, just the right thing at just the right moment to make me realize that that's really what I'm working on, right? So John gave this talk not too long ago, right around that time, where he did a quote by John Astor. And it's always misquoted by being someone else. He translated Faust, and it was a really bad translation from everything I've read. It was like very loose and very paraphrased translation when it went to English. But it's, then indecision brings its own delays, and days are lost lamenting over lost days. Are you in earnest? Seize this very minute. What you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Okay? So he suggested that we take steps towards our dreams and something like that, and there are many ways I would describe myself, and bold is not one of them. Okay? But you hear boldness every day in the news, and you think of people that are bold, like firefighters and people that have left these horrible relationships and things like that. And I came to realize I've done a lot of those things lately. I did leave a bad relationship. I did leave a job that I didn't like. I did leave things that were changed my life. And boldness is about that, making that decision, right? So I decided that I was going to get serious about changing my life. I wasn't happy where I was. I'm getting serious there. So if you heard my last talk that I gave a while ago, I had 6 ways to change your life. Okay, and I still believe in all 6 of them, but I whittled it down to really easy 3 steps. First is get centered. And it's much easier to do that in the very beginning of your day. So you start by taking a couple minutes to connect with your source and be thankful. I normally do this before I even leave the pillow, and I'm thankful for the pillow. And I think I got this from Abraham Hicks, and she talks about think that you have the pillow and the blanket and the person that's snoring or the pet that's snoring next to you, and that you woke up this morning and everything is beautiful. And take that few minutes, and it doesn't have to be a long time. I'm talking, 2 minutes of just like, thank you. Thank you. I am so prosperous. In the 4T program, it's you're saying out loud, I am so prosperous. I'm so prosperous. I'm so prosperous 100 times. And that's the best way to start your day before you even get out of bed. It's already put you in a different mindset. You're not thinking about what you did last night. You're not thinking about the stress that you had. Do not touch your cell phone before you do this. Before you do this in the morning. Then before you get your day started, you should spend at least 5 minutes meditating. The experts say that it should be 15 minutes, and it should be just after 15 minutes of exercise before your morning coffee. Okay? I don't listen to the experts either. My coffee is first. But that's what the experts say is the best time to do that. And what that's going to do, if you spend 5 to 15 minutes in the day, it starts you out with that space. And all this time, you're not touching a cell phone yet. You don't touch a screen. And that's very important, because once you touch that screen, because that's kind of one of those things that we have nowadays, it's that cell phone, right? It's the first thing you do is check, I need to check into Facebook and check my email and check this and check that. And it's so easy because that's now our alarm clock too, right? So do not touch that screen. Do not look at that screen until you've meditated. Then you're on your time, not its time. It separates that moment, and you're not in the agenda. You're in that space of being able to be you and being centered before you touch that stuff, and things become much clearer. The second thing is to get inspired. Okay? How many of you have ever felt that the voices inside my head are not necessarily your friend? Everyone? Everyone? Yeah. So my voices definitely aren't my friend. A lot of times they are very not my friend. And so I work diligently to hear other voices. In those moments, you really do need to spend time being with other voices. And sometimes that's not people around you. So I did a lot of work with listening to podcasts. There's some really great ones out there, whose names escape me at this exact moment. But I go to YouTube and search for Abraham Hicks and Tony Robbins and whoever is your guru of choice, and listen to many of them. What we were just talking before the service is that John did a big talk about gurus not too long ago, and he said that you get stuck on a guru, and I realized that I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks. So I've purposely tried not to listen to her as much because I needed a little bit more broader view of things. And so I went to more Tony Robbins and more Mastin Kipp and other people that hit me in that moment, and YouTube suggests, because YouTube knows me, right? And then and only then can you take inspired action. Then you can check your email, because your actions are going to be clearer. Then you can go into your day because your actions are a little clearer. Does that make sense? Abraham Hicks says that it's useless to take action towards things that you want unless you are in the vortex, because everything else is going to just take you further away from what you really want. As John mentioned last night, Sean Anchor, author of The Happiness Advantage, talks about people who are in a positive state make a better decisions and see things that people who are unhappy. So they've done the studies. They put $50 bills along this path. They were in a research, and they sent them to a coffee house and put $50 bills on this path, in different denominations. The people that said they were happy when they got there found the $50 bills. The people that didn't stepped over them, literally stepped over them. And we do that all the time. You're not seeing things clearly. You're not seeing everything around you. So if you get centered and get inspired first, your actions get better, right? So it was one of those moments that Tony Robbins, I was driving around in circles, because that's what I did for dry cleaner 2 days a week. And I was driving around in circles, and I had a lot of alone time, and I'm listening to Tony Robbins, and he said something that changed me. He said, it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. So when you decide, right, you shape your destiny. And it really taken in that moment, I was like, whoa, wait a second. Isn't that what he said? Are you in earnest? You know, John had just said this conversation a week before that, probably that Sunday, and I heard this on Tuesday. So it was fresh, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Wait, I just heard that. I've already started making changes, okay? And then this happened. I'm like, all right, that's it. That's my message. I need to make a decision. Am I going to stay here and put up with what I'm putting up with, or am I going to move forward in my life? That week, I started looking seriously for a new job. I took my spiritual practice a lot more seriously because I knew that I needed to work on some of my stuff. I started blessing the job I had. I started looking at the reasons why the boss was talking to me this way, because, you know, I've seen this happen in my life more than once. And so, as Al-Anon always says, it's different faces in different places, right? So you have all these same experiences with different faces in different places. And so I'm looking at me. What am I doing? What am I saying? You know, and not that I'm wrong, but that I have things that I could do better because I don't like the experience, right? And I'm proud to say that I have since gotten a new job. I am working for Advantage Sales and Marketing. I do events, which are really fun, and I'm loving it. I'm a people person, so me being out in front of people is fun and great for me. It's really easy, and I'm getting paid very well for that. Soon after I get this job, I got the audition information, so that was another big thing. Okay, well, yeah, I told my brother that I would audition for something soon, right? So I get this audition stuff. You know, listen to your words, and so I said, why not? And I figured that I'm just signing up, and I don't have to go right now. You know, I really don't have to go. I'm just gonna sign up, right? Because you always give yourself that out. You always give yourself that back door. I think the very next week here, I was singing, and someone came up to me and said, "Where else are you singing? Where else are you singing?" I'm like, "Nowhere. I'm here. I'm here every Sunday." You know, and they're like, "Well, why aren't you singing anywhere else?" And I'm like, I gotta do this audition. And then Mike Breen suggests, I think that same week, he suggests that I do Fight Song. And if you ever heard the words to that song, it is powerful. And so I'm sitting here, and I have to hear them over and over again. I've never really paid attention to this song very much. And Mike's going, "Yeah, this is a really great song." And I heard it. I'm like, "Oh, it's great." And it's some girl, and it's out of my range and out of my key. And so I'm fighting it first because, you know, that's my first reaction to most things that I need to do is fight. And how about you? You know, the first reaction is, "Oh, yeah, no, I don't need to do that." Whatever. So you start mumbling under your breath, and then you're like, "Okay, yeah, I guess I got to." And so it was such a powerful moment for me. I still don't think I've ever sang that song all the way through without crying. I still don't think I've heard that song all the way through without crying. Because it just opens up something in my head. The words open it. And if you listen to it, please listen to it. And I think it's posted with me singing it online, so you can look at that up. But I made the decision that I'm no longer going to live in the limbo I was living in, because I realized that a lot of the stuff was limbo. You know, my ex still had things at the house, and after 9 months at this point, and my job was in limbo, and everything was in limbo, and I wasn't quite making enough money at Advantage, and it was like doing this feast or famine thing, which is another thing that's really prevalent in my life, and I'm trying to do shadow work on. So I'm in that space, and I'm doing this audition, and I'm saying to myself, well, I don't have a car. Well, I still have to go to this audition, so I took the bus. You know, I walked through the city day and night, which was kind of scary for me. I know that Detroit, especially downtown, isn't as scary as it should, you know, as it's led on to be, but I'm still a smaller guy, and know that, and don't carry weapons on me. I can probably hurt you with something in my hand, but I'm probably not going to hurt you by punching you. You know, little things in my head that I think about, and I'm saying the prayer of protection, especially walking back. And I ran into the very first thing that happened after that audition, though, is I ran into somebody who was auditioning also, and I was charging my phone waiting before I left Kobo, and we were just sitting there talking back and forth, and he goes, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm a web developer because I do web development." And he goes, "Oh, I've been looking for one of those." And literally in that moment, it changed my life. He said to me, "Well, give me your card. Do you have a card on you?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I explained what True Awesome does, and he goes, "Oh, that's exactly what I needed." He has since signed up. He has since started using it. And we're starting to see movement on True Awesome, which I had kind of given up on. I kind of threw it away because it hasn't been working, and, it just wasn't working. I had to stop my energy towards that, right? I come home, and 2 weeks ago, I had a phone call from a dear friend of mine that I worked with forever. I worked for Pizza Hut for many, many years, and one of my dear friends calls me and says, "Well, they really need help in Ferndale. Ferndale is my dream store. It's been my dream store forever. They kept promising it to me and dangling it over my head, and that's one of the reasons I left, because they kept dangling the store over my head, and then someone else would get it constantly. And they're like, they need help there. Can you go and just talk to the manager and see what you can do, and blah, 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 blah." So I'm working 2 days a week, which stabilizes finances for me, which is very important for me in this point. And so I'm really excited about that, and I'm really seeing changes. You can tell when I'm there and when I'm not. You're looking at numbers, you're seeing it. So I see the change I'm making in there. I'm meeting more interesting people. I'm looking at more interesting, right down to someone who was supposed to be here tonight that's not, but that I'm actually thinking about dating again, which scares me, terrifies me still. But I'm coming to terms with the fact that I'm lovable, and I'm okay, and I'm worth a relationship, not just a booty call. So Luke 11:8-9 says in part, "Your boldness will make him get up and give you whatever you need. So I tell you, ask, and God will give it to you. Search, and you will find. Knock, and the door will open for you." Okay, you have to knock. You have to. I know that you're supposed to be in the stream and the flow, and everything will come easily to you if you are in that space. But you actually have to act on those things too. You can't just let them just come to you. You have to move forward. You have to make that bold decisions and that bold actions. They will come. They will come. As you see, I could have easily turned on Pizza Hut because I was very afraid of it. Those who I've talked to that I got counseled, I was very afraid that I'll get sucked in, because I do at Pizza Hut a lot. And 10 years later, I wake up and I realize that I'm still there, and that I'm not happy, and things move on. And I didn't want to do that again, but I'm realizing that it's such a different energy, and it's such a different place for where I am, and I'm really feeling needed and loved. And with the work advantage, again, it's about, I go in there happy. I feel happy when I walk in the door. I get really great energy from people around me, and I'm happy when I leave, and I'm feeling better, and I'm seeing that radiate all throughout my life. You have to be willing to take bold actions, even if it's just a step. I don't know if I made the show. As I said, I won't know anything until February, but in the end, it doesn't matter, because just taking that action has started clearing out the dams that I've created for myself, the walls I'd created, because there were so many different walls, right? And don't we all do that? Make these little walls and these excuses, and then once you do one thing, it just kind of frees those up a little bit, and it opens up life, I think. At least it has for me. So I'd like you all to try something with me, and Deborah, if you can pass out some pens. You guys all have, there's a reason why these are on your seats today. You all have a communication form with you. I want you on the back of that, I want you to write down 3 things that I have on my whiteboard that I'm reading every day. And these are just reminders I've made to myself. And put it somewhere I found that it's really helpful for me. This is one of the first things as I get up out of bed. It's really, before I walk out the door, I have this. But I know that by a mirror or something, and just see if this helps you and makes you feel anything. You are a creator. So write this down. You are a creator. What are you creating today? How are you strengthening connections you already have? You are a creator. What are you creating today? How are you strengthening connections you already have? And how are you helping others? How are you strengthening connections you already have? And how are you helping others? These are the questions I ask myself every morning. I remind myself I'm a creator. I'm creating this life. I'm making these actions. I'm being bold in my actions to create the life that I live. I ask myself, what am I creating today? I can create doom and gloom. I can easily create that doom and gloom. I can see that everywhere. Or I can see how beautiful the day was today. I can see all your shining faces. I can see beauty. I can see that the dog, I love my puppy even though he raced my talk last night. At 1 o'clock this morning. It was fun. I can see the things that are going well for me. I can see that, yes, I worked 14 days straight, or I can see that, yay, I worked 14 days straight. I need that money. So, and how am I strengthening connections? I found that I isolated myself a lot, so I have to force myself to make a phone call. Who do I need to connect with today? I make a phone call every day. Who do I need to connect with? How am I strengthening that connection? And how are you helping others? What am I doing today that's going to help someone else? How can I help them? Is it telling my story? Is it going to help somebody? Is it going to rake someone's yard? Is it whatever that is for you? Is it picking somebody up? Is it just being a friend? Is it making the phone call? It doesn't have to be big, huge, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to touch one person today. And so I'm going to finish the talk with this quote by Marianne Williamson. And she says, in Of Return to Love, we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. I always like to say it, you are a spark of the creation. You are a spark of creation. What are you doing with that spark? And we'll pray. Mother, Father God, thank you today for this chance to be together. Thank you so much for giving the words to say, and hopefully they reach somebody and I touch somebody's life today. Thank you so much for this connection that we have in this space to come together, to be fulfilled and happy. I hope that this week everyone goes and makes some bold movements towards their dreams, towards the better life that they want, to let go of thoughts and thinking that is not serving them, and be bold enough to do that.